It's time for the Pittsburgh Sports Reporters, an inside look at your teams in your city.
Welcome to the Pittsburgh Sports Reporters. It's Monday, June 3rd. I'm David Todd of 970 ESPN, and I'm joined by Mark Madden, super genius of 105.9 The X, and Mike Prisuta of the DVE Morning Show on their performance.
Give them a 7. But
a 7?
7 out of 10 is not good enough at this stage of the postseason against a quality opponent such as the Boston Bruins. They're going to have to get it up to about 9, 9.5 to start getting the thing going in their direction.
Way too high for me, Mark.
Oh, I might give them an 8. I thought they played well enough to win the game. It sounded like a bell fight in a gun factory out there. They hit the post, 3 or 4 times? They could have easily won that game. I'm not saying the Bruins weren't worthy winners. They deserved to win the game. Krejci was magnificent. Tuukka Rask got mostly lucky. But if the Penguins play that way over the course of this series, they're going to win the series. No doubt on that.
You watched the last 25 minutes, though, right?
It was a rough last 20 minutes. I thought the Malkin-Bergeron fight turned the game in Boston's favor because the Penguins lost their cool. They lost their priorities. They got flustered.
This is it, though. This is the whole thing. Malkin is the Penguins' kryptonite. The guy is the most irresponsible player on the team. You got a minute 30 power play coming up, and he puts himself in the box. He doesn't play the first 8 minutes of the third period.
I have mixed emotions on that because you can't walk away from everything, and Bergeron was clearly initiating a fight. But, yeah, you got to consider scoring situation. It was 1-0. They had the power play. But Malkin played a hell of a game.
It was
Didn't
the best,
score, but played a hell of a game.
For 40 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, as far as the most irresponsible player on the team, most nights you'd be right, Dave, but I think Crystal Tang wore that hat for Game 1. What an awful performance from him. And the Penguins' biggest issue right now is Evgeny Malkin and Crystal Tang. It's feast or famine with these guys. It's risk-reward, and most of the time they're doing something spectacular that would seemingly help their team win. But too often they're just making unthinking plays and something bad happens. Letang pinches in the first period and a 3-on-1 results.
3-on-1,
He
right.
throws a terrible pass to Malkin on a power play and a shorthanded breakaway results.
2-on-0.
And then he's in front of the net, and instead of just batting the puck away with his hand, which anybody could do, you don't have to skate like Crystal Tang to be able to do that. He's waving his stick at it as if he's going to hit it. It ends up in the net again. These guys are superstars. They're part of what drive the Penguins train, but they're too often part of the problem, and that's why this team hasn't won a cup since it last won the cup.
I think the overreaction to one loss is just grandiose at this point. It's one game. They're going to win the next 4 or 5. Maybe the next. Why are you laughing?
I'm not. I agree.
mean,
I said 5.
The Bruins just aren't as good as the Penguins.
I agree. And I think
Tuukka Rask is not good enough to beat the Penguins. And as far as Tuukka Rask being ahead 1 game to none, when he was ahead 3 games to none against Philadelphia, it didn't turn out too good. So until he beats the Penguins, I say he's not going to beat the Penguins. I agree with a lot of what Mike says about Letang and Gino, but you can't structure a guy like Letang up too much. He's Paul Coffey. Either turn him loose or turn him loose. Either use him the way he's built to play or get rid of him.
Who should he be playing with?
Letang?
Yeah.
I like him with Eaton.
You do?
Yeah.
Mike?
Well, the guy I like him most with is Simone Dupre, but
Right.
they're not going to dress Simone Dupre.
Should they think about it? In this series, you like it?
I don't know if you want to overreact to one loss, but you see, I never would have had Dupre out of there.
Right. Mike,
Yeah,
who should he play with?
I would think Dupre, the puck-moving ability and the ability to get it out of his end, you don't want to play half-court against Boston. This Penguins team doesn't want to play half-court against anybody, particularly against Boston. But what the Bruins showed us in Game 1 is they were able to quickly transition and take an opportunity that's given to you off a one-on-one battle lost on the wall or a silly pass, and they can get it into the net quickly thereafter. So I think what the Penguins need to do is be a lot more efficient, a lot more mistake-free. Now, I would say they were probably 75 to 80% mistake-free in Game 1, but that's not going to cut it. Again, I keep saying the same things every round. Think defense first. Think keep it out of the net first and foremost. The other end will take care of itself.
Missed a ton of chances. Mark, I got a question for you. We talk about Sidney Crosby, best player in the world. We all agree on that. We always talk about how great he is going to the backhand. Sid's now missed multiple open nets here on the forehand side, not getting the puck in the air. Is there anything going on here or just a couple
He
bad
obviously
games?
should go to the backhand. No, Sid's playing fine. If anything,
He didn't have a good game.
He didn't score.
He had good chances.
If anything, he needs to get more touches on the power play. I hate their power play right now.
The people or the concept?
A little of both. They don't play Iginla enough on the power play. Iginla has that bomb from the left circle. When he's over there, it spreads the whole power play out. Everybody else has more room.
And Boston's playing off him at the points. So
Yeah, he should just be there, period. Okay? Take Letang off the power play. Give Letang more even strength minutes, okay? And if Sid's going to be in the right circle, which, by the way, is not where I would have him, my power play would be Iginla and Malkin at the circles, Paul Martin up top, Kunitz and Crosby down low, Neal plays when somebody gets a break. But if Crosby's going to be in the right circle, he should be quarterbacking the power play. That power play has no true quarterback right now, no true reset point. Martin's the best guy for that, but if they're not going to play him up top, have it be Crosby in the right circle, who you reset to, who the puck goes through. He's not getting nearly enough touches.
Mike on the power play.
I think Letang's a quarterback of the power play.
And not a very good one.
As far as the other guy across from him, maybe it's time to go back to Ginla. Maybe it's time to go to Martin. I've seen enough of 71 on the point. Not that it's always his fault, but too many bad things are happening.
Well, the 2-1-0 wasn't his fault.
He didn't help it.
Terrible pass by Letang. The pass never should have been made.
Agreed, but Malkin reached for it and took himself out of the play.
And never
because he's
back.
trying to get to a puck that he hopes to get to instead of making a defensive decision.
Because he's a forward.
Because the play is screwed up already.
Because he's a forward.
Well, some guys are a little bit more polished and they would back off. Of course, those guys don't have the offensive skill that Malkin has, so that's the trade-off.
I'm always the one to bury Malkin. I thought he was sensational in Game 1.
He wasn't sensational. The fight was incredibly selfish and ridiculous and the kind of thing that will get them beat if it happens again.
Ill-advised. If it's 1-0 Pittsburgh, it doesn't matter. But it was 1-0 Boston. The Penguins were in a power play, so yeah.
Today's Flint, when they're starting the third period on a power play and he's watching from the penalty box, that's the second worst thing that can happen. The worst thing is Malkin can break his hand in a fight, and then where are you?
Oh, that's true.
All right, Matt Cook. Go ahead.
Well,
Matt Cook, penalty, yes or no?
It was a minor. It was a minor penalty. What Matt Cook did was not as bad as what Brad Marchand did to James Neal. They should have got equal penalties. If anything, Marchand should have got a major. But Matt Cook has the reputation, and Matt Cook deserves the reputation.
Correct.
I cannot feel sorry for the guy. You know, everybody says he's reformed. A reformed guy doesn't do that, period, in a situation like that. His contract's up at the end of the year. They'll be well rid of him. He's a good third-line player, but the baggage he brings, the headaches he causes, they're never going to go away. Sometimes it's his fault. Most often lately it's not, but who cares? There's still headaches.
Mike McQuaid looked him right in the eye from 4 feet. He's already taken his one stride. He only took one. He pushed off the ice one time from when he hit him from there.
Oh, he was gliding, no question. I do think he lined him up and drove him into the wall. I thought it was a textbook penalty. The Neal incident with Marchand, his little legs are going a mile a minute, charging. Although he hit him in the back, I didn't think he hit him directly into the boards. That was kind of the way Neal fell. It was a little bit more of an angled play. I thought they were both penalties.
Matt Cook, just Mark's point, looking down the road, is there any chance he comes back with the Penguins next year?
Oh, I mean, I haven't gotten any information on it. If I'm Ray Shero, I'm trying to find a way to get him back, yeah.
No way.
35 years old, 2-year deal,
well,
million and a half?
He wants 3 years.
Nobody's getting 3 except Pascal Dupuis, maybe.
Well, that means Matt Cook's gone. Plus, they got UC Jokinen to be the third-line left wing next year.
All right, guys, here we are, down 1-0. If you're going to bring a goalie in and you think he's your best goalie, now, look, take it out. If it's in his head and in the organization they think it's in his head, you don't bring him in. If you're going to make a change, you got to make it now. I put Marc-Andre Fleury in the net tonight.
You know what? I would too. I won't blame them if they don't. I don't think it's a clear-cut decision either way. But if you think Marc-Andre Fleury is your best goalie, and I believe he is, tonight is the night to put him in. If you get down 2 games to none, then you could have Jacques Plante on the bench. That probably won't matter after that. Tonight's a very important game. I would play Fleury, but I will understand if they don't.
I'm with you on that, Mike.
I'm sticking with Vaucoon one more game. If they're down 0-2, I'm going to Fleury, but not before then.
How do you feel about the pressure situation then on Fleury? I mean, no different. It's a playoff hockey game. It matters either way.
Semifinals. I mean, he's a been there, done that guy. If the pressure's going to get to him,
which is why you might play him tonight.
Should have got rid of him a long time ago. I don't think you look at it in terms of the pressure. I think you look at it in terms of how is he going to play and what's the effect going to be on the rest of the team. Now, they're watching practice a lot more closely than I am. Dan Bosma has seen Marc-Andre Fleury play a long time. He's seen Tomas Vaucoon play prior to this year. He's got a good idea in his head what each guy is capable of and who they are. I think it wouldn't suggest panic right now. But the reason I'd stick with Vaucoon tonight is what if you put Fleury in and you lose? Now you're 0-2 and you're fresh out of goalies to throw in.
Well, that depends how Fleury plays. Unless
you want to go to Eric Hartzell. But I got Fleury nice and warm in the bullpen. I'm putting him in tonight after the game starts if I have to. But I'm riding with Vaucoon.
Give me a score tonight.
5-3 Pittsburgh.
Mark?
If the Penguins play the way they did in Game 1 every game this series, they'll win the series. It might take 7 games, but they'll win the series. I say 4-1 Pittsburgh.
I got 4-1 Pittsburgh, too. Guys, Pirates playing great baseball. They lost 2 to Cincinnati, didn't score a run, but came back, won yesterday. For me, most impressive win of the year. Your starter goes out, you're down 4-0 in the first. Garrett Jones hits the first ball ever in the river for a Pirate. Hey, that was nice. Remember when they built the stadium? They had the splashdown count. That counts now at 1.
Yeah.
Mark, over 500, are you in?
Talk to me about baseball in July.
Mike, over 500, are you in?
Not yet, but I will give you most impressive win of the year, not just because of the 10 shutout innings by the bullpen.
What was the crowd? That's what I want to know.
29,000.
29,000. Not quite a sellout.
Sold
then.
out Saturday, 29,000.
A lot of Reds fans.
What about the weeknight crowds? How they been?
They're averaging about 20, I think 23 on the season.
But what about the weeknights? What are they averaging then?
I don't have it for you.
What I was going to say
Not that
before we
high.
started.
School's out. Talk to me when school's out.
Oh, it's always the same old Pirate excuses.
Well, that's not a Pirate excuse. That's a fan issue. But
What I was going to say before we started counting fans is I especially like the way they were able to do the quick turnaround, so to speak. 2 outs, nobody on. McCutchen hits a shot, and the third baseman's unable to make the play. He gets on, and Jones takes advantage of it by launching one into the orbit. They did that against Detroit, turned the game around quickly when they got an opportunity. There has been a stick-to-itiveness to this team and a stay-the-course, kind of keep chopping wood mentality, which I've not seen previously, and that's paying off for them.
Well, we saw it last year till August. We saw it 2 years ago till August.
I don't know
Mark.
if we saw them winning games they were losing or winning games they were getting dominated by
I'll
a
be
starter.
skeptical till they win game number 82.
Oh, I will too.
All right. Mike Adams gets stabbed on the south side. What do we say about that?
You know
You said
what?
some things on Twitter. You said
yeah.
it never happens to a Pirate or a Penguin.
Does it?
It's true.
Never does. It's always a Steeler. What's he doing out on the street at 3 a.m. on the south side?
Mike, what I want to know is why haven't they caught the guys yet if the guy left a cell phone at the scene?
Oh, my Kojak?
Well, I thought so.
I don't know. I
mean,
don't
what's
have
the
any
deal?
expertise
You
in
know
police
what?
work.
How can they reach him if he dropped his cell phone? You can't call him.
I know this much. When I was 24, 25, whatever Mike Adams is, I was on the south side a lot. It's easy to say, you know what?
Did you ever get stabbed?
Nothing good happens after 10 o'clock or midnight or whatever your high school football
It's
coach
always a
told you.
Steeler. It's always a Steeler.
Nobody wants to listen to that
Why
stuff.
take that back? Sometimes it's a pit player.
That's the Pittsburgh Sports Reporters. It's Mike Prisuta, the
Football
DVE Morning
sucks.
Show. It's Mark Madden, super genius of 105.9 The X.
Soccer sucks.
And I'm David Todd of
real
970
football.
ESPN. Thanks for watching.